Hello, everyone. Ian Hamilton here with Good Virtual Reality, and thanks for giving me your time today. You can become a member at goodvirtualreality.com and also support independent VR journalism directly with a donation. Today, I'm joined by Lucas Martinic, who is the creator behind a series of eye-catching projects for VR headsets. Hi, Lucas. Where are you tuning in from today? And can you tell us about some of the things you've been working on?
Hey, Ian. Nice to be here. I'm tuning from Berlin right now. It's 3 p.m. here. It's pretty sunny. And yeah, I've been working in XR for around 6 years or so. I started back in 2018, I think, when I realized I could build XR also with Unity, which is a game engine that I was playing with back then. And I realized, wow, I can also build XR with this. That's crazy. And that's when I basically decided to start with this. And from then, I work in a lot of different startups and stuff. But at some point, I decided to start my own projects and company and so on. And since then, I've been working in a series of things and being very interested in mixed reality and more like pushing the boundaries of what's new, like camera access from Quest 3, prototyping around these things. And yeah, I built this little prototype of Super Mario, the Mario 64, I think was the one you saw. Became pretty viral in every platform, got a lot of messages, and I've been sharing the APK with hundreds of people. I don't know. I haven't published it yet because the legal stuff around it. So right now I'm just sharing it for free with people, that want to try it. It's a Mario 64 prototype where you can actually grab Mario from the 3D world and pull it towards your own environment. You can place it on your table and it will start running around there, jump around your furniture, and then you can grab it again and place it back in the game, and the game continues as nothing happened.
Yeah, really amazing idea there. You shared this APK with me, and I have my own physical, legitimate copy of Super Mario 64, and I was able to back that up and inject it into the APK, and boom, I was there doing exactly what you show off in your video. And then I tried to go inside the castle, and I was very disappointed that the castle didn't actually take me to World 1. So explain how you made this and how much more work would it take to adapt the entire game this way.
Yeah, that's the tricky part. And even that Mario 64 is one of those games that are, I think, fully decompiled and reverse engineered. There was a project back then where multiple people joined and made this possible. That's why there's so many ports and so many experiments around it all of the time. But even if that's the case, still not so straightforward to plug into something like the Quest 3 and mixed reality, since they still heavily rely on Unity for the latest features. You need to still use Unity to get access to, for example, meshes around you, the camera access, and more like the frontier features of the headset. And I needed those to do this demo in mixed reality. So I had to basically recreate a little bit the first scene. I had to say that I found a repository from actually this person called Jonas Jacobi, where he had the Mario movement and animations working in Unity. So that was a great start because I could already start from there. So I had just to kind of grab the textures and models from the game that I also own. So I was able to extract the models and textures and then recreate them in Unity. There's this work that needs to be done to have a full game, which is kind of recreating step by step within Unity. It's a different language, a different platform, a different system than the compilation that's already out there, which I think is in C or C++ coding language. So it's not fully compatible with Unity. So that's why it's only for now just the castle grounds.
Got it. Well, it was really wild to sort of reach into this world, pull Mario out, let him run around on my desk, fall onto my floor and run around on my floor. And then there was this is the moment where I'm like, do I have to go get Mario from the other side of the room? And I realized, no, I can just direct him with the analog stick back to next to me. And I leaned over and
it works,
picked him up.
It works surprisingly well. with just one controller, the right controller, right, from the Quest 3.
Yeah. So really fascinating work there. And my pet project that I've had in my mind that I want to see someone do is I wish someone would take the first level of Sonic 2 and make it fully playable from left to right in a single screen. So basically, make it so that you can turn your head left, turn your head right. And I don't know if it would be a whole 360. I don't know how long that level is, but
Mm.
somehow use the canvas space, the infinite canvas space of VR to let you see the entire path instead of this like little window into Sonic's world. Or even Super Mario Brothers
Mm.
3, the same thing
Mm.
where
Yeah.
you've got like just the whole map mapped out in front of you. Let's not be constrained by the little itty bitty window that we had in the 1990s, and now let's see the entire map all at once, and you can attack it from left to right.
I feel like these experiments with old games are quite impactful for people because it's like they can easily or more easily relate what's happening, and then they can see like what's the possibilities of mixed reality or virtual reality in this case, and they can connect it easier to what they're more like used to, right? So I feel that's why they're so impactful and they became like so viral.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, a couple questions here that I just want to understand is, can you explain your relationship to AI? I see it mentioned a lot in your work, and I want to understand how much of the work
Mhm.
is AI and how much of the work is your coding, and what's the relationship there?
Yeah, so the video is not AI first, because a lot of people especially in Reddit people are super like they don't believe what they're seeing or something. So I posted a video in Reddit too, also became super popular, and the common opinion was like, no, that's not a real, that's AI video, that's not possible. And I didn't reply to any of the comments. I just wanted to see what people think. But yeah, first, the video is not AI. It's as you try, is a real build that you can play with and runs in your Quest 3 and where you can do all that. The AI part that I mentioned is that I used AI to help me with the porting, like decompiling and recreating this castle, because that's a lot of work. That will take a non-agent, like a human, many hours to do. So I had the idea and I knew kind of how to do it, like I I got the idea. Well, I don't know, scrolling in Twitter and X, and I decided to do it. And but I knew I wouldn't be able to do it without AI, with my time availability and all the stuff I do. So I used AI to do it more like in parallel to my day-to-day stuff. So basically, in parallel, I'm running an AI agent that I'm like telling how to do this, and then the agent will come back to me when it has a build that I can try. So I will try, I will see what needs to be fixed, I will give feedback back and let it keep working. In that workflow, I think it took like maybe 2 or 3 days. I will from time to time check the build, give some feedback, send it back while I'm doing other things. If I didn't do it with AI, in this case, it will take me full time for a week or a couple of weeks. And of course, I need to continue doing my day-to-day tasks and jobs, right?
Very interesting. All right. So you're using it sort of as an assistant to go off on do a task and sort of see what the output is. And you've got some main task that you're dealing with in your day to day. You're not using the agent for, or using a different agent for your main task.
For my main task, I also use plenty of AI for coding nowadays, since it allows me to be more productive, allows me to also build things that I wouldn't be able to build alone. Like one of the things I'm working on right now is this platform called Polyfork that is a 3D model factory that provides models as code. So each model is not an array of vertices, coordinates in space. It is a piece of code, each model. So what that means, it means that you're able to modify these models with knobs and sliders. So they're like parametric models where you can make, for example, a tree to be taller, shorter. You can make it to have more branches, less branches. And you can have a car that is also maybe higher, is longer, easily change colors. So every model is a program. And I'm building this platform where I have like a factory also of models being created 24/7. I have an agent that codes models. I have an agent that is a judge of models. Now you can have ideas that are like bigger in a way, and you can have this easily like use agents as also co-workers, right? So you can have more like one person studios. So yeah, I guess I'm using it also day to day, this kind of workflows.
Feel free not to answer this question, but my curiosity takes me
Yeah.
to what has been your AI spend? What's it costing you?
Right now, I'm running 3 Claude Max plans every month. So that's 600 USD a month, which is quite high. That's my AI spend, basically. That allows me to work in everything I work on, and to have these factories also running 24/7, right? So I'm not spending anything extra like API costs and so on. So with those 3 accounts, kind of covers everything. This Polyfork platform that I'm working on, polyfork.dev, if you're interested in, has clients, has subscribers already. I launched it like 10 days ago, and it's been doing quite good and already covered the whole cost for a few months. This is just an interesting economy right now where you can like come up with these things and make them work quite fast.
Fascinating. All right. So talk about Inkphony, if you could, a little bit. What is that project and where is that project? Because I think you won a hackathon with that, didn't you?
Yes, Inkphony is a project we hacked for the first time together in XRCC here in Berlin with Tejas, with Nadia and Sarah. We built this prototype for the Logitech pen that works with the Quest 3, where you could draw notes on your table. It's a musical composition app, so you could grab the pen and you will just touch the table, and that will start like drawing the notes. But then you could actually, take the pen and reach for an object around you and touch it, and then you will grab the sound of that object. So you could actually plug it into the composition tool and hear your song played by that object sound. So we won that hackathon. And then a few months later, Meta started this huge hackathon with like millionaire prizes, and they accepted also projects in progress. So we actually took the project and pushed it to the next level, you could say. We made it for hand tracking, and then we made like this crazy effect where you could actually with your hand grab an object around you, and you like pull it, and reality will like bend towards your hand as you pull it towards you, So we used the camera access that was kind of released not so long ago to do that with some stereoscopic shaders. So it was something that was not possible just a couple months ago before the hackathon, and it made us win also the first prize in our category in that Meta hackathon.
How much were those prizes? Was it 100K I saw?
Yeah. 100K in the Meta one. Pretty big price for a hackathon. It's pretty crazy.
So what is the status of that app? You're planning it for release? How much work is left on it?
Yeah, so we are still in works, redesigning some stuff, because the premise or the vision that we presented for that hackathon is not feasible to do. It's possible, but it's not sustainable, because the way we set up the vision AI models that we use to manage to do this will, surpass what people pay for the app. So we're still like figuring out, and even talking with Meta and Dilmer, and, like how we can find a way where we don't lose that magic of the original thing we presented in the hackathon, but in a way that we can also publish it, charge a fair price one time, and then is sustainable over time. And I feel like that's a new thing with all this AI usage within consumer apps, because you need to find a way where you can cover the costs if you offer like an AI feature. In this case, we're offering AI feature through recognizing the object you're pulling in your room. It will work with any object in front of you, right? And that needs some AI. And then generating the sounds. We're using AI for that. We're still trying to find a balance where it will keep the magic, but still be sustainable over time.
One of the questions I ask almost all my podcast guests, and I think we're getting near the end of this podcast, so I'll ask you after this question if you've got anything else you want to share. But the question is, can you think of a favorite moment of presence in a headset? If you had like a favorite memory inside VR, what would it be?
Yeah, there's a few, probably. We started this studio in Berlin with Chloe Lee. studios called Present Futures. But before we started, actually, we were working together in this project called Temporal World that we premiered in South by Southwest in 2023 or something like that. And at some point, I had to move back to Chile because my father got sick. I had to move back for about a year. And we were still working with Chloe, like remotely, she in Berlin, me here. And we were also kind of dating, so we miss each other because of the distance and stuff. So back then I was building some like templates, multiplayer templates for the Unity Asset Store so people could do multiplayer experiences for Quest 3 or the Quest devices. So I told her, hey, let's build one together. I wanted to build this mixed reality one, multiplayer mixed reality. And I told her to, build it together with me. But it was more like a excuse to have more things to do with her because I missed her. So we built this multiplayer system that will allow us to share the space, both of us in mixed reality in our places and seeing each other's avatars. So it was super fun to try that with Chloe and, build it because it was the way we will be in the same space. And it was very, very crazy, like the sensation of touching and, grabbing the hand of another avatar and stuff, or laying down, on the floor side by side. Even if it was just avatars, we made like this tiny room was like Japanese theme. And it had like this sea waves in the back, like noise, like relaxing, like very, nice place. So basically while building and testing this, we spent a lot of time in this room together, like just sharing the space and talking. And it was our way to see each other, to be with each other along across the distance. And we will really like it. Like we will be on the phone and we will say like, hey, do you wanna jump into the VR, let's continue the call in VR. And we will like do that, and replace our phone call with and continue in this space we built together. Yeah, I think that was probably the most, important memory in VR for me because I guess more personal, yeah.
I got it. Thank you so much for the breakdown here. I'm very curious to see what people do with the inspiration they've taken from the Super Mario 64 demo in particular. The idea that your hand can suddenly assist your character in a video game is a really neat idea. There's plenty of moments where just my character's stuck. Let's move him over this barrier. And yeah, I would love to have that like little bit of assistance when it's necessary.
Yeah. I feel that's the idea, to just inspire other developers and maybe non-XR developers to jump into XR, right? That's what I would like to.
Well, thank you for the time, Lucas. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.